Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We're Screwed. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr. With me, as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody tonight?
Tonight, we're going to be talking about something that's been popular lately, like on all the social media and TikTok and all that kind of shit. It's like polyamorous relationships and all of that kind of stuff. Um, I'm not an expert on this. I'm an old married guy to one woman. So I'm going to throw over to Old Boy and let him kind of take the reins on this show, and I'll just kind of come on later and comment on what he said and maybe ask him some questions or something like that, because he's got a lot more experience with this. He's in a polyamorous relationship, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll throw over to him and let him take the reins. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, there's different umbrellas of polyamorous, though, and I'll explain them. Polyamorous is when, say that I'm married, but I have a girlfriend, and my wife knows, but we're not together with her. I'm separately. It's not swinging, because swinging is different. You and your wife go out and meet other couples, and you switch and swing, and then you go back together. This is different. You date outside your marriage. It's like an open marriage, but polyamorous is it's the same thing. It's now what is so it's basically open marriage. You can just go sleep with whoever you want. This is you actually have a relationship outside your marriage or other girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, fiance or whatever. And then for men, there's the other branch is like unicorn. I'm sorry, I didn't want to. There's unicorn, and why they call it the female unicorn is so hard to get, a magical creature. And then I was going to say they call men dragons. If they want a dragon, that's what they call a man, a third. We're more of trouble now. We kind of got away from the unicorn because the unicorn thing, dude, and honestly, we've changed our opinion. The unicorn thing is kind of like screwed up for the third person because you're bringing somebody in your relationship, but you have to follow the married couple. And once the married couple are done, it's over. There's nothing else. Get the hell out of here. And that's or they'll a lot of people they'll make their rules and then they can do what they want, but that person wants to bring in somebody for themselves. Nope, can't do that. It's not fair to the third person. The way I do things now and my wife does, if we find somebody, our third, we've been in with third, we just do it together. But we had conditions like we could kiss each other, but we can't do something sexual while we're not there. Well, we're not there. Well, we changed that because it's not fair. When you're with somebody and you bring a third in, and the way I do it, and this is different than other, is that I'm pretty much, yes, that's my wife, but she's pretty much my wife, but not on paper. And I have to treat her the same. I mean, yes, by law, I known her longer. That's a whole different story. That's our relationship on that part. But that's the way I do it. Might be different for other people. It be like Dragon. I'm friends with this guy Dragon, and he's got two wives. They're in a polyamorous relationship, but it's monogamous. So they don't do anything else in that relationship. But they're trying to get a third they're talking to right now, so they're going to have four. Um, damn lucky guy. And James just sitting there shaking his head, whatever. But that's what he likes. But the thing is, if you meet them all three, it kind of makes sense. You'd be like, "What the fuck's wrong with?" No, you see it and it makes sense. They work all three as a team. And they work really well together. They've been doing this for a while, so it works for a lot of people. A lot of people don't realize monogamous relationships fell at almost 60%. People who do this kind of lifestyle they stay together. It's only 40%. I'm not going to say nothing's wrong with that or anything's wrong with anybody how they get married, but I think differently. Doesn't bother me seeing my wife with somebody. And it's not because you're getting another woman like everybody says. That's not why I do it. I know people are going to say that, oh, you lucky bastard. I get it all the time. And it is, as a man, it is cool. You got two wives, that's cool, but that's whatever. I don't give a fuck. You still got to deal with, in the end, I still got to deal with two women at the end of the day. And one woman's hard enough. Imagine two. They both have different ideas and things going on. It's still reality, bro. It's not everything's in the bedroom. That's not always. That's just a little bit of it. You still have to be with two people, three people. It's very hard to sleep with three people in the bed because I'm in the middle, and it sucks because I can't move my arms and they fall asleep. I'm just telling you, and it's not. Because it gets hot as fuck. It's hard to move. They both like to cuddle. Yes. And, women are different than we are. Emotional, especially watching movies that time of the month. It's different. So I still have to deal with that. Double than what a regular couple would do. And it's still not easy, but it works for me. And it may not work for you. And whatever you do with Polly, I get it. There's some people who don't want to get divorced. They've been married for 30 years. They have family. And what's the point of getting divorced when you really do love each other? But instead, if you guys you want to do stuff and you want to go outside, go date somebody else. And they can go date somebody else. You're still married. You know what's going on and you're honest and you still come back. A lot of people who swing say that they're happy as ever, and everybody thinks it's just because they're not happy and this and that. They've been doing it for 20 years. So I mean, whatever my opinion is, it works for you. I know some people have their religious beliefs, and I get it, but honestly, bro, in my opinion, it's hard to be in a monogamous relationship in this day. And not like it used to be, where you didn't have internet, you didn't have alleys where you could just meet anybody anywhere. It wasn't that easy. When you met somebody, it was not easy. You had to go to school, or you had to go to church, or you had to go to sporting events, go to bars. But sometimes that's not somewhere you want to meet somebody at. I mean, for other things, and I don't want to say it like that in a bad way, but that's the only really way. You couldn't go and look on the internet. You just had to use your phone and call somebody, and it wasn't like it was now. It's so easy, and you'll see like, oh, I finally found somebody, and then a couple years later somebody else will come along. Instead of making all this madness and never getting married because you don't think this is an alternative. I'm not saying this life is for everyone. It's not. It's very not. If you're a very jealous person, and I used to be, and you shouldn't be ever do this. Because you're never gonna. You're always going to think the person's cheating on you. You're always going to think they're going to leave me. That could happen in any relationship, honestly. You roll the dice whenever you get married to anybody, or any kind of relationship you start or you get really invested in. You're rolling the dice. There always could be somebody comes out of nowhere and bam, ruins it all. And it could happen at any time with anybody. So, and I get it. You believe whatever you want, man, like I said, but it makes me happy. And it's not that I'm doing it to look cool because, hey, I got two women or three women. You know what? Dragon likes that. He wants three women. He's still going to, like he said, even when we had a show, he's still got to deal with two women. He's got to deal with a third one. Hey, it's all his. He can have it. But, that's all his. It's not in a bad way. It's just that 2 is enough for me, and I'm good with that. 3, 4, 5. I don't know how some of these guys have 120 wives, and Moses, remember, he had a whole bunch of wives. And back then, I don't know how, dude, like 100 wives. What the hell? How would you? I couldn't do it. That was a strong man. I don't care what but if you could deal with that's a strong man, bro, because that's a lot of problem right there. A lot of people you got to keep happy. It ain't going to happen. But that being said, I want people to realize I'm not advocating to live my lifestyle. But if you are doing it, there's risk of that happening. But it's a risk of anything, any religion, not religion, relationship could get ruined. It could get messed up. It's just throwing the dice with everything. And if you're going to be in this lifestyle, don't be a jealous person. Don't get over emotional. Don't get needy to the point where like you're over on people. I mean, I'm talking about all together in any relationship, but do remember it's going to take a very strong person to be in these kind of relationships, because you are going to see your wife with another person, or husband with another person, and it doesn't bother me, but it could bother some people. Some people can't handle sharing, and it shouldn't be. But we do remember this, is that once you try it, though, you probably are going to get involved in this kind of life or some kind of form of it. And it doesn't bother me. James, he's been married a little longer than me, so and he has a difference of opinion. But you know what? That's how they like their life. That's their way, and there's nothing wrong with that. He saves himself a lot of trouble, because I'll tell you right now, if he had two women in his house, he'd be staying in that room all day. Because I mean, again, in the end, it's still. And just saying, if it's two men and one woman, or three men, whatever it's still, the point is, you around somebody all the time, you don't want to be. And they don't want to be around me, because I know I get annoying, and we get annoying, trust me, because what the fuck is on TV? What broke now? What do we got to do shit now? And when are we going to get this done? You know how we are without women. We would be, I don't know what the hell would we do. If it's like put a pot on our head and go to work, bro. That's our women keep us in check, bro, and that's the truth, and that's pretty much the same thing. It's no different than, it's just a little bit different life. And anybody who lives these kind of lifestyles, like polyamorous, is just it works for some people. I've met people who, like, I've met their girlfriend and their wife, and they're all cool and happy together, but they don't do anything. The one girl's, oh yeah, I'm married, but he's gonna go move in with his girlfriend, and I'm like, or then why are you gonna be still married? They're all, we're not getting a divorce. It's just what we do. We see each other still, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it works for these people. They have no problem with it, and it's nothing bad. I've met people like that. They like that lifestyle. There's people like the swinging lifestyle. That's a whole nother kind of lifestyle that now is getting popular. I don't know if you've seen that. You go on YouTube, the upside down pineapple. If you see that sticker on their car, that means they're swingers. And there's a lot of these cruises that make a lot of shitload of money, and I get it. Fuck, there's another way to make money, and they found it. But they go on these things and they do all this stuff, and that's not my lifestyle, but that's is what it is. And like I said, always be careful who you're doing stuff with anything. Always be safe, and try, keep yourself from STDs and AIDS and stuff like that, and always practice as safe as you can. Unless, just, that's all you got to do is be careful, and that's with any kind of lifestyle. Any lifestyle, doesn't matter what you are, just be safe. But remember, guys, just do remember, it's not like you see on TV. It's something wonder over the time we're jumping in bed, and it's just not like that. Hollywood has really, in the porn industry, has really advocated to make it seem like that's all it's really about. And it really isn't. It's the same as just being with just another person in your relationship, and that's it. They're like, they equal you out, and that's what it kind of is with us. But that being said, I'll throw it over to James to see what he says and thinks.
First of all, no judgment on however you choose to live your life, run your marriage, whatever. Like, it doesn't bother me. You couldn't pay me enough money to do it. There's no chance. Simply because you got a hard enough time keeping one woman happy. Women are, and this is going to sound horrible when I say it, but I don't mean it in a bad way. So all you ladies out there watching, don't get all, upset with me yet. I'll probably give you a reason to get upset with me at some point, but this isn't it. Women are like emotional vampires. And I don't mean that in a bad way. They require so much of your emotional energy and attention that I just do not understand. I cannot fathom why any man in his right mind would want more than one. I mean, I know what every man's thinking. He's thinking the bedroom. You know what I mean? That's all he cares about. Oh, I get to sleep with 2 women. I get to sleep with 3 women. This is great. That's all he's thinking. But dude, that's a tiny bit of time. The overall majority of the time, you got to live with 2 women. And the only thing harder than living with a woman is living with 2 women. Because not only can they both gang up on your ass when you're wrong, which is most of the time, but also they're going to go head to head with each other bitching. Because women are drama, dude. And that's just true. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, you got to agree with me. Women are drama. Look at this. You talk about divorce rates. Who do you think has a higher divorce rate? Lesbians, straight couples, or I guess what is it called? Gay? Like just 2 guys is just gay, right? Yeah. Or gay couples. Who do you think has the highest rate of divorce? It's lesbians because it's 2 women and women are drama and they're constantly bitching and fighting with each other. Now, man and a woman, we don't do too good either, divorce rates, because it's hard for men to put up with women's shit. They run their mouth too fucking much. And see, men and women handle conflict in different ways. Women handle conflict by this constantly, bitching. Men don't do that. If me and old boy got a problem, right? We got an issue between us. Then I'm gonna walk up to old boy, or old boy's gonna walk up to me, whoever has a problem, and say, "Hey, I got a fucking problem with you. You did this or you said this, man. That ain't cool." And he'll either be a man and say, "You know what? I did that shit. I'm sorry, man. My bad." And then we let it go, or maybe we got to throw some punches, and then we're gonna fight. And I'm gonna beat old boy's ass, or he's gonna beat my ass. But then what's gonna happen after that is we're gonna go get a beer and go get a cheesesteak and hang out. That's how men handle shit. You know what I mean? We don't do this forever. We do this, and it's solved. But the problem where you get the issue with men and women are going to do this because that's what they do. We do this, but we can't do this anymore. Your ass go to jail if you do this. So now, as a man, you're defenseless. What can you do? You cannot hope to compete in this category. You don't have the tools for this. You can't, your brain isn't wired to even handle that shit. It makes you crazy. And you're just like, I'm going to fucking punch a hole in the wall. You're driving me nuts, right? But you can't do nothing about it. That's why so many men and women get divorced because men just can't take the bitching and nagging, and women can't stop doing it. That's the problem with men and females. We're just different. Now, you get 2 guys together, and I'm not advocating for this, but you get 2 guys together, they have the lowest divorce rates. Why do you think that is? Because it's 2 dudes. Even if they're gay, you got to realize they're still men, right? They're still dudes. So they might go in the bedroom and be gay together and then come out and order a pizza and watch a football game. Ain't gonna be bitching. There ain't no bitching going on. Now, some of them you get are like those real flamboyantly gay, like catty ass people. They bitch a lot, but I think they bitch a lot not because they're actually that way. I think they bitch a lot because they're trying to be women. You know what I mean? They think that by being gay means they have to pretend to be a woman and take on all the characteristics of women. And it's a weird mind trip that they go on for some reason. I've known a few like that, and I don't understand. I'm like, why can't you just be a dude and be gay? Why do you have to like act like that, like all flamboyant and like catty, like you were watching Real Housewives or something, or Bad Girls Club or some shit like that? It's ridiculous how some of you act, you know. But they have the lowest rate of divorce. So to me, the reason I say you couldn't pay me enough to be in a polyamorous relationship like that, I don't want to deal with more than one woman. It's hard enough to get along with one, and I get along great with my wife. Me and my wife have an amazing relationship. You know, yes, she bitches and nags like every other woman on the fucking planet. And yes, I just don't listen. I'll just pretend I'm listening and just think about something else because that's what men do. You know what I mean? But it's enough of a problem just dealing with one when they're all fired up at you. Could you imagine having 2 or 3 or 4 or however many damn women you want to have bitching and screaming at you? at the same time. Ugh. Or one's bitching over here, she's like, oh, fuck this, I'm out of here. I'm going over here with this one. Then you go to that one and she's bitching. Ah, fuck, now I'm gotta go with this one. Now she's bitching. Oh no, man. I'd jump off a fucking cliff. The hell with that bullshit, man. There ain't no way in hell I'd put up with that shit. I'm gone. You know what I mean? So that's why I wouldn't be involved in it. I don't think religious. I don't think it's a religious thing really, as far as having more than one wife, because a lot of people from the Bible had more than one wife. But you got to realize back then it was different. Back then it was a lot different. It was more of the enjoyment part of it, and the women had someone to hang out with when you were out doing your shit. You know that you had to do. It wasn't like it is today, because today you got this. That's the problem. Back then, this didn't happen as much because they would hit you with a fucking rock or something. Like they would stone you if you ran your mouth. You didn't run your mouth back then. Women got to realize, like nowadays, you guys have more rights than you have ever had in the history of mankind. They used to do horrible shit to you guys. In some parts of the country or the world, they still do. You know, you look at some of those Middle Eastern type countries where all you can see is like the eyeballs because everything else is covered. They're still shitty to women over there. They do horrible things to women. You know, women don't have rights. They can't even learn to read in some of those countries, or they'll be stoned. That's insane. If they walk down the street with a man that's not their husband or their brother or their father, they will literally all the men on the street will start hitting them with sticks and shit. I mean, that's craziness. That's how they treat women. You know, in those kind of societies, the women don't run their mouth because if they run their mouth, they get the shit beat out of them. So they don't run their mouth. It's pretty easy math to figure out. You know, and once again, I'm not condoning that at all. I don't think that under normal circumstances the man should lay his hands on a woman in that way. I just don't believe it. Now, I'm not going to say he never should because I don't believe that's true either. That might be a controversial thing to say, but if you think about it, I'm right. Daniel Tosh had a bit about this. He's a comedian. Did that Tosh.0 show. He had a bit about this where he said that there was never a time to hit a woman. And he said, really, is that really true? He said, say you come home from work and you know you're expecting you're going to have dinner and all that kind of stuff with your wife and your kids, and you can't find them and you don't know where they are, and you go in the bathroom and there's your wife already drowned one of your kids in a tub and is in the process of drowning a second one. Then can you hit a woman? Yeah, well, yeah, then you ought to knock the bitch out. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that there's never a time to hit a woman because obviously a woman comes at you with a butcher knife or something, you better defend yourself or you're going to die, right? There's obvious answers to that where, yes, it would be okay. But I think as a general rule, you shouldn't do it. But that's why men in the old days could have multiple wives and it wasn't a problem because the wives didn't act like women act today. You know, they kept their mouth shut. They didn't run their mouth constantly because they knew if they did, I mean, it ain't like the police are going to come and drag the man away for knocking you out. If you called the police back then, or whoever the authority was back then, and they came there, and you said my man punched me, they'd say, "What did you do?" Well, I was running my mouth. Well, don't run your fucking mouth. What are you stupid? You know what I mean? That's what you would have got. You know, and once again, not condoning it. I don't believe it's right, but that's the reason why most men had multiple wives that had any kind of money back then would have multiple wives because it was easy to have multiple wives. Because then you just have multiple wives and you go see this one on Tuesday, this one on Thursday, whatever you want to do. And you were kind of in charge of the situation and it was a playground for men. It was fun. It ain't like that no more. So you're going to have to deal with a bunch of women running their damn mouth all the time. And that's not going to be fun. And then you put on top of that the idea of all of these damn diseases that are out there now. It's a freaking minefield, man. I'm glad that I'm married, and I've been married for over 20 years. I'm glad because if I had to date today, I don't know if I would. I might just be single because screw that, man. I mean, everywhere you turn, there's a venereal disease. You know, it's insane, and a lot of them they can't help you once you get them. I mean, you might not die, but you're never going to be the same. It ain't worth all that to me. You know what I mean? So you got disease, you got listening to women's mouth, like multiple women, all that kind of shit. And then you just got the normal jealousies of humankind. You know, you can only have sex with another woman so many times before your wife's going to get a little pissed off. You know, she might not act like she's pissed off. She might pretend it doesn't bother her. But somewhere inside that woman, she's like, this motherfucker. You know what I mean? He's paying more attention to her than he is to me. That's gotta exist in most women. You know, you're gonna have issues and you're gonna have to work at it, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass. And there's gonna be a lot of points as a man where you're gonna do something you think is okay because you guys have laid down rules that this is okay. So then you go and do what you think is okay, and it ain't gonna be okay because she's gonna have a problem with it. That's bound to happen. So when that happens, you're just kind of hung out to dry as a man. You're like, I'm screwed now. You know, so in all reality, it's having multiple wives. Most men think it would be a dream. I think it would be a nightmare. I think the reality of it would probably be a nightmare for most men. Now, you're going to get the occasional situation that's going to not be like that, where everybody's cool with it, nobody has a problem. But 99.9% of the people aren't going to be that way. That's going to be a rare thing. You know, most people are going to be jealous. They're going to get pissed off if you spend more time. You know, they're going to get pissed off if you, like, say, Valentine's Day, you get this one something that's better than this one. Or if you try to be safe and buy them both the exact same thing so nobody can get mad, then they're going to say, well, you don't even love me enough to give me something better or something different. Well, you didn't even put no effort into it. I was the original. I'm your wife. She's just somebody we brought in. How come she gets a dozen roses just like I get? Why don't I get jewelry? That I'm telling you, that shit's gonna happen, and you're gonna have to listen to that bullshit. And you're gonna say, "Why did I do this? Why did I do this? If it wasn't for the whole penis thing, I could have been gay. I could be sitting right now watching a football game with my buddy, drinking beer, and not having to listen to this bullshit. I'm just trying to do the right thing here. But no matter what I do, I get bitched out. That's what life is like as a married man. So now multiply that by two, or three, or four. Nah, no thank you. No thank you. Marriage, if you don't believe in divorce, right? If you believe once you get married, you're taking a vow to God, you got to look at marriage as a life sentence with no possibility of parole. Okay, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that's what the commitment is like. You're stuck there forever. You ain't going nowhere. So you better make the best of it. You better try to get along and have a good life together, you know. And it's difficult sometimes, and you go through shit with your wife, you know. But if you've done a good job of picking her, and you pick somebody who loves you, and somebody who has honor and a good moral compass, then you know that no matter what happens in the world, you got one person in this world that you can count on. One person that'll always have your back, no matter what. That's special. That's amazing. You know what I mean? That's what a good marriage is. That's what my marriage is. I know my wife, dude, there could be like a whole biker gang gets pissed off at something I said on here or something and comes after me. And man, they roll up on their motorcycles and they start beating me down with bats and all kinds of shit. My wife would come running out and try to whoop their ass. That's the kind of woman she is. She'll die right there beside me. You know what I mean? And not only that, but do all the really, really gross shit that like nobody else will do for you. You know, and everybody knows what all that shit is as you get old. I'm not talking sexual stuff. I'm talking practical stuff. Like you get older, you start going out in the sun and sweating, and you start getting like what we used to call back in the day swamp ass. It's like massive chafing in the groin area and the legs and the butt and all that kind of stuff. You get all that nasty chafing going on, and it smells weird and it hurts. And somebody got to rub some stuff on that, right? Some A&D ointment or something on that. Now you might be able to rub most of the spots, but there's spots you're not going to be able to reach or not be able to find. You know, so what you got to do is you got to find yourself a woman that'll rub A&D ointment in your back crack. That kind of shit. The gross shit nobody wants to do, especially to a man, because men are fucking nasty anyway. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's love. That's what a marriage is supposed to be. So to all the people out there that aren't married yet, all the men, I would say make sure before you get married that you have a good moral woman who isn't going to run around on you. Make sure you have somebody that has the same goals in life that you have, so you guys can work towards something together. So you're not fighting against each other constantly. And make sure you get a woman that loves you enough to do all the gross stuff, you know, like putting the A&D ointment in your butt crack or my wife loves to pop zits for some reason. And I get like zits on my back as I get older. I don't know what the hell that's all about. And I also don't know why they hurt so much. Like I'm a big, big, strong, deadly man, right? I can whoop wholesale ass if I need to. I'm a tough guy. I'm not some little bitch. But I get zits on my back and my wife screams. It makes me want to jump through the wall of the bathroom, climb up on the roof, and just run for my life because they hurt so damn bad. I don't know why they hurt like that. But she loves to pop them shits, man. She's like one of them damn monkeys on the Discovery Channel to sit there picking shit off the other monkey. She just loves to pop that shit. She gets a kick out of it. I don't understand why. But hey, it works out because that shit gets taken care of. You know, if you're a single guy, you ain't got nobody to do stuff like that for you. You got to try to do some kind of weird yoga shit to get it yourself, and that just doesn't work out for you most times. So that's what a good, loving marriage is supposed to be. Now, in the case of a polyamorous relationship type deal, maybe you get lucky and you find two people that are awesome like that, and then you're awesome, right? I highly doubt that ever happens. And if it does, you might want to buy a lottery ticket because you're the luckiest son of a bitch in the world. Because it just usually not going to work out that way. Not to piss on anybody's parade. I don't care what people do. If you want to have two wives, have two wives. If you want to have three wives, have three wives. If you want to be gay and have your buddy as your husband, whatever. I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. As long as everybody's of age and everybody's consenting, I don't give a shit. Just leave the damn kids out of it and don't try to convince people that they have to agree with what you're doing. You know, it's okay if people don't agree with you. You know what I mean? And I don't disagree with old boy's lifestyle. I just don't care. It's none of my damn business. How he wants to live his life is how he wants to live his life. As long as he's not doing nothing terrible to children or doing something without consent, then it's none of my damn business. I just don't think it's likely to work out for most people. And I'm not saying in his case, I don't know. It might work out for him. His wife's pretty awesome. I know his wife. His wife's a really cool chick. So maybe it will. But I also know that his wife is just like every other damn woman. And a little bit more because he's got a Latino wife. So he done really fucked up. Because I'll tell you something about Latinos. No, you don't fuck with them. You know what I mean? You don't fuck with them. Because she gets all pissed off, man. She starts going, man. You in trouble. And I'm not talking physically in trouble. I'm just talking about you're going to have to listen to some bullshit for a long, long time coming out of that woman's mouth. She ain't going to back down and shut up, So you also got that side of it with his wife. So I I am hopeful for him. I pray for his safety and his sanity. We'll see what happens. I know that if he does piss his wife off, he's going to hear about it. And you get more than one in that situation, you're going to have to hear double. And that ain't going to be a good thing for old boy. He'll be doing the shows like this from now on. He'll be like, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what I'm supposed to say about this bullshit. I just don't understand. I just want to cry, but I'm a man, so I can't. So I'm just going to go in the garage and build something or hit something with a fucking hammer. I don't know. I'm going to do something. That's going to be old boy here before too long. But I hope not. I hope that he does well. I love the man. I love his wife, too. His wife is an amazing person. I really think a lot of her. And I hope it all works out for them. I hope they don't end up killing each other in their sleep because they're pissed off about some bimbo they brought in off the street. But we'll see. But anyway, I'll throw back over to old boy and let him give his final shout outs and we'll wrap up. Go ahead, brother.
Now, again, like I said, I don't advocate for anybody, and everybody's going to have their opinions, and that's fine. But just remember, respect everybody's beliefs and why they follow. You can have your disagreement of what they do in their life, and that's fine. But when you go out of their way to to get in people's faces and argue with people. That's none of your damn business what people do in their house. I don't care. And it works for some people. It actually works better than what people think. And statistically, I could show it to you. It would blow your mind. But like I said, some people it wouldn't work. Some people it does. Some people been in so many bad relationships, they just say, fuck it. Regular one don't work no more. Some people can just do that and it works for them. It is what it is. But like I said, whatever you guys do is keep it safe and always remember, think of everybody in the situation and not just yourself. And that will work out a lot for you. With whatever relationship you're in. That being said, I hope you guys like the show on Spotify on Staring into the Abyss. Check it out on Spotify. We have both of them on there, but it's under Staring the Abyss. You can watch We're Screwed, and you can do it on YouTube, and you can go to our store to get shirts. Teespring, Staring into the Abyss. I think I said that right. .com or whatever. Fuck, I probably got it wrong. Fuck it. He'll probably fix it for me. But if you want to get shirts and stuff like that, you're welcome to. Remember, guys, it's going to be spring soon. I hope you guys enjoying your year's going already quick. Summer's middle of fucking March. It's over past middle of March, so it's almost April. Fuck. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I miss you guys, and have a good day, Misfits, Sugar Ladies, Monster Lovers, Demon Hunters. I love you, and have a great night.
Yeah, the easiest way to do the merch stuff, if you want something from the merch store, instead of trying to type in a bunch of bullshit, it used to be easy. It used to be like teespring.com/staring into the abyss. But then they changed the links. Like when you hit share, the link is different now for some reason. It shouldn't be, but it is. Now it's a bunch of damn weird shit. So I put the link to the merch store in the description box of every video on YouTube. So if you want something, just go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/James Hershey Jr. and check on the description box. And the link will be there. You can go there and get whatever you want. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you found it entertaining and fun and informative and all that jazz. As always, up to you to make up your own mind. We're not here to tell you what to do. And have a good night. Till we speak to you again. Love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.